I can sense your judgment. I can tell that you really don't want to listen to me right now, but unfortunately that's the case. Well, there's my young Dick Cheney impression, and good night, everybody. Just kidding. Wow. Okay. This was this was the worst Oscars ever. I mean, predicting wise for me. I'm gonna start there. Wow. Okay. I mean, holy shit! A lot of stuff went wrong for me. I started out pretty good on the night. I got the Regina King thing right. I got well, yeah, Makeup with Vice. I think everybody got that one. Free Solo looked like that was going to be a tough call, but I got that one. And after that, there were a whole bunch of things. It's like, oh, I should have seen that coming. Oh, I should have seen that coming. Oh, I knew it was between this and that. I knew it was between this and that. And there were a couple of holy shit upsets too, though. We'll get to those too. But man, I mean, well, I guess the more history repeats itself, the more it stays, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I guess is the going to be the big line here. And yeah, so I guess the Academy, just this, I mean, in general, you look at this, this feels like old style Academy, the way they voted tonight, as far as the winners go. Really feels like old style Academy. They go with Green Book for Best Picture, also picks up Supporting Actor and Screenplay, the same three goddamn wins that Moonlight had, and I have been saying that through the year, and I didn't have the guts to predict it. You look at director going to Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, which was, that's been keeping with more recent tradition, but the Best Picture director split has been also a more recent thing. Let's see here. I mean, we'll get to it, but I mean, I was thinking with original screenplay, that went to Green Book, by the way, not First Reformed. I was thinking there had to be a massive landslide style upset here somewhere this year, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it before we got to it, but I was like, once Green Book won original screenplay, I was like, that might be it. That might be Green Book for picture too, and it lucked out. Yeah, that's what happened. But no, our massive landslide upset this year was Best Actress, and Glenn Close now becomes the first actress to go 0 for 7 for Academy Award losses, with the exception, of course, of Geraldine Page. She went 1 for 8 and then passed away right after she won. Excuse me. So, Glenn Close might do the exact same thing if she gets another nomination. That's if. I mean, 71, I think, you never know. I mean, it could be, but you never know. I don't want to insinuate anything, but it's like, it just, I don't know. It's a tricky thing. But anyways, otherwise, the rest of the three acting categories I got right. I got BlacKkKlansman right for adapted screenplay. What else here? Spider-Verse for animated feature. We all got that one, I think, for the most part. Foreign language film was Roma. Yep, that turned out. We talked about Free Solo a little bit. Period in a sentence one for doc short subject, excuse me. And that one, I should have seen that coming. I was thinking that one and Endgame were two kind of, I guess technically kind of medical subjects in a way. I thought they would kind of outsmart each other there, and you'd see something like Black Sheep, which was kind of the front runner from the start, kind of pull through, but it didn't. It was period innocent, and I had seen a lot of advertising for that one lately, a lot of like Instagram posts and stuff. So I guess that's one that was has been very celebrated, and that one went right under my radar until after I had my final prediction. And then I was like, oh, I keep seeing that everywhere. I'm like, maybe I should have called it, but nope. Let's see, live action short was Skin, and I freaking had Skin for not a long time, but for a while, and I switched over to Marguerite at the last minute, and it did not help me. That sucks. Bow, we all got that one for animated short. In the music categories, original score went to Black Panther. I knew it was between that and Beale Street, but yeah, that one, Black Panther pulled through. Shallow went for original song. That was an easy call. Both the sound categories, Bohemian Rhapsody, I thought definitely sound mixing, but sound editing. Musicals don't win sound editing, so this one did. Okay, whatever. Let's see. Production design was Black Panther. Again, that was a two-way race between that and The Favorite. Cinematography was Roma. No big surprise there. No big surprise for Vice for makeup. Costume design also went to Black Panther. Film editing went to Bohemian Rhapsody. Again, that was kind of a two-way battle there between that and Vice. And First Man did win for visual effects. That was my only decent pull this year, I think. otherwise, I mean, man, that really did not pan out for a lot of stuff. So, yeah, so I went 14 for 24. Not a great showing. That was worse than I did last year. God, I can't remember. The 2016 year, La La Land year, I maybe had a number that was similar to that. I'd have to look back. 2015, that was a spotlight year. I got quite a few wrong that year, I remember, but I don't know. Maybe if I look back really, really quick, let me just see if I can find the totals here. Let me go back to the La La Land year. Okay, that one I missed picture, I missed actor, I missed, what else did I miss? Not Zootopia. Got Doc right. White Helmets I missed. I went with Joe's Violin, I remember. Sing I missed. Let's see, here's Arrival I missed for sound editing. Hacksaw Ridge for sound mixing. I missed makeup for Suicide Squad, missed costume design for Fantastic Beasts, and missed Hacksaw Ridge for editing. So actually I did worse than that year. Let's see, the year before, if I'm remembering all these correctly here, I did not go Spotlight for picture. I went Revenant. I got the 3 of the 4 acting categories. I did not get Mark Rylance. I did not get, pretty sure I got Son of Saul for foreign language. Pretty sure. I got Amy for documentary. I don't think I got Girl in the River for short doc. I did not go Stutterer live action. I didn't go Bear Story, I don't think. I went Sanjay, that's right, yep. Let's see, I missed song. I missed both the sound categories. And I think I got the rest. I think. No, I missed Ex Machina, so even that one I got 9. But I'm pretty sure I went costume, makeup, and film editing for Mad Max that year. Production design too, I'm pretty sure, so yeah. Yeah, so this is, my worst year on record here, since I've been predicting on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. The 2014 year still stands as the best one. I got 20 for 24. Since then, it's been downhill ever since. Last year was a little better. I think I went, I think I had 16 for 24 last year, if I remember correctly. But yeah, to go 14, oof. Ooh. But yeah, that's been this season, though. I have missed the Best Picture category every time this year, with the exception of Green Book for comedy film at the Globes, and if you want to call the Best Picture equivalent at DGA for Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, if you want to call that one, I got that one. But I missed Best Picture for drama at the Globes, definitely. Definitely missed it for SAG, and I missed it for BAFTA, and I missed it for Critics' Choice. So yeah, I don't know. Feels like it's time to throw in the hat right now. That's where I'm at. I'm just a depressed state right now, as far as the predicting goes. Now, as far as the show goes, we can talk about that a little bit. You know what? I think the show came in right at 3 hours, 18, 19 minutes, somewhere in there, which is way, way better than I think the previous years. Last year, let's say I got YouTube pulled up, or Wikipedia. Last year was 3:53. The year before was 3:49. And the year before that was 3:37, so that's closer to what we did this year. So you know what? I think a lot of the things they did this year worked as far as shortening the show. And guess what? They included all the categories. There you go. So I do think that the style of not having a host, just kind of rotating here and there, works. As far as I'm concerned, the performances of the songs, I'm not really in favor of that. I think that kind of distracts from it a little. I would, sure, they're on there and stuff, but by this point in the season, we've all heard "Shallow" 100 times. A lot of us have heard "I'll Fight" several times. I didn't see the Cowboy Gets His Wings. I didn't see that film, Buster Scruggs. But it was decent. And we've all, Kendrick Lamar was not able to perform, or chose not to perform, excuse me. But yeah, we've all heard all the stars a lot and stuff. So it's like, it almost feels redundant. Like, I remember the year of Let It Go, all those nominees, when they did their songs, it was like, oh my God, we've heard these 5 fucking times already. It just felt, especially, that one. But, because they got so much airtime that year. But anyways, yeah, it does feel like definitely what is this? Oh, hang on a second. Late breaking news. Best Picture did not go to Green Book. It actually went to a film called hang on, let me try this again. It actually went to a film, little known film. We didn't know this was even nominated, called Whack Ass Oscar Bait. I'm just seeing this edit on Wikipedia. This is fabulous. Whack ass Oscar bait. Hashtag whack ass Oscar bait. That's hilarious. It's true. It's kind of true. No, I did. I enjoyed Green Book thoroughly, though. I think that was number 4 on my list of best films of the year, though. Yeah, the only one I liked better this year that was in the Best Picture race was Black Klansman. That was number 3 for me. Black Klansman, yeah, I did get the one vote. Now, what's funny though about the show itself was I really liked the setup that they had there early on, where they had the 3 women presenting supporting actress, and then they did similar setups where a couple presenting the other acting races. Those, I think that worked out pretty well. Even though, yeah, I do prefer the more traditional stuff. As far as stuff you can also cut out, I think the individual presentations of Best Picture nominees, I think that can go. They didn't, to my knowledge, they didn't do that in the 70s and 80s and stuff. If I kind of like the idea of what they do at the end. They did it last year. They didn't do it this year. Is you do a 2-3 minute sequence where you kind of cut some of the clips together of all the Best Picture nominees and then show it. I feel like that would be a good way to do it. Just do that instead of the individual presentations. That would save you, because really, I mean, that's 8 presenters, or 9, 10, 11, 12, however many, because a couple of them were coupled up and stuff. That's I'm gonna keep this whack ass Oscar bait. That's hilarious. I'm gonna send that to people, because I know several people tonight who are very happy that Green Book won because they've seen it and they loved it, my mom including. And I know several people who are very pissed off that this won because they didn't enjoy the movie or didn't really care for its kind of half-assed way it looked at race, or that's their words, not mine. But personally, I enjoyed it personally, and I think it was one of the best films of the year. It was definitely deserving of nominations in picture, and especially the acting race. I mean, those two are great. Viggo and Mahershala are fantastic. Screenplay was really good. I don't know if I would say it's better than the script for something like, well, The Favorite had a lot of good stuff in it. Vice had a pretty good script, Roma's, I don't know, but yeah, probably Green Book is the best of that bunch. I haven't seen First Reform though, so I might amend that if after I see that. But yeah, anyways, I'm still looking. That's funny. Anyways, but yeah. It was weird because I was looking at this earlier and I went to something else and I came back and it was in red, so I'm like, uh-oh, is it like a wrong envelope thing again? But then they changed it to whack ass Oscar bait. I think that's funny. Anyways, but yeah, that one weird thing I'm going to tell you. This is something that I could not have called at any point, but it just all of a sudden hit me. Is as Best Actress was being presented, because we got to talk about this. This is the biggest upset in recent Oscar history as far as the acting races go. Yeah, I think Mark Rylance, that one counts. That was a big upset. Who else? Boy, I'm trying to think who else. You can go back to Meryl Streep in Iron Lady, but even then, that was one that felt like Viola, but you could understand it being Meryl Streep. This one, I don't know. I mean, Olivia's great. I mean, of the 5 performances nominated, I would say Olivia's is the best, but I mean, Glenn Close is really good. Yalitza's great. Lady Gaga, I'm not a big fan of that performance. Melissa McCarthy, though, is very good. So but Olivia's was hilarious, and it had a lot of emotion to it, a lot of depth to the performance, a lot of drama in there, but also a lot of comedy. Yeah, so it makes sense why she won, because I think she had the best performance of the 5. But man, though, I mean, she won the Globe for comedy, disappeared through the rest of the season because she was off shooting The Queen, showed up at BAFTA and won, and then she won here. I mean, wow. Okay, but what I was talking about though, really weird, was as the night was going on and The Favorite was kept losing everything. I was sitting there. I'm like, okay, I was kind of counting in my head. I'm like, okay, Bo Rap has 4 already. Which, by the way, yeah, another reason people are really pissed off tonight. Bo Rap went 4 for 5 and is the biggest Oscar winner of the night with the most wins in that category. Wow. Okay. Roma and Green Book and Black Panther all had 3, by the way. Beale Street, The Favorite, Black Klansman all had the 1 win. Who else? Vice only had 1 win. Star is Born only had the one win. So yeah, pretty much if you were not Bo Rap, if you were not Black Panther, you were not Roma, or you were not Green Book, you basically only got one. But anyways, um, yeah, that's I mean, what I was talking about was I was kind of counting in my head. I was like, okay, everybody has something, but the favorite hasn't won anything yet. I'm like, and right as her clip is playing, I was thinking, is the favorite seriously about to go 0 for 10 and pull an American Hustle? And then her clip plays, and I kind of listened to the crowd response. I'm like, and the crowd responded pretty good to Glenn Close. I mean, they loved Roma. When Yalitz's name was called, and pretty much any time Roma was nominated for anything, there was big applause from the audience. But then, yeah, but then and the applause was really good on Melissa and on Lady Gaga and on Coleman. Pretty much Glenn Close was the only one who didn't get a big snap from the audience. And it's like, well, maybe that's just because the wife was, let's not mince words here. It wasn't a film everybody saw. I mean, I missed it at first, and lucky enough it came back later, and I was able to see it in theater. But man, that's one I just thought, kind of like with Still Alice and a few of those other ones, they just blind vote. It's the actress they're voting for, not the film, so it wouldn't matter if they've seen it or not. And they've seen all the clips at the other award shows, so it felt like, yep, that's going to be it. But then Olivia Colman got called. I was like, oh my god, because at that point, I mean, pretty much for the rest of my predictions, I'm like, anything goes at this rate. I was like, Spike Lee's going to win, and Green Book's going to win, or Bo Rap's going to win. I was like, anything goes at this rate. I was just like, wow. Just tear up your predictions while you're at it. But man, yeah, that's weird. That's weird. So I guess the big thing we've been talking about all year for the acting race is about almost conspiracy theories. Almost is the stuff with like, okay, so we've been talking about Regina King and supporting actress. It felt like, okay, the only place that Mark Rylance won, because the big comparison that year was to her was Sylvester Stallone, of course. Was the only place that Mark Rylance won was at BAFTA. And he was nominated through the season. He'd won his fair share of critics' prizes and all that. And then he pulled off a big Oscar upset. And I was like, well, Regina King pulled it off tonight. But it's weird because Olivia Colman did the same exact thing, except she had a win at the Globes, too. That is the only exception. She won a few critics' prizes, not all of them, but a good number. Same thing that Mark Rylance did. Won a Globe, which Mark Rylance did not, but then kind of disappeared through the season. But she was always nominated. She was nominated at SAG, nominated at Critics' Choice, won BAFTA, and then boom, here she comes at the Oscars. Unbelievable! Wow. Okay, so that is. I don't know if we can predict that anymore. I don't know how we can come back and say, okay, next time this happens, go for the upset. But yeah, I guess if one of those upsets was going to happen, I mean, it was 100%, I would think, going into the ceremony. If you had told me somebody was going to do that, they were going to lose through the season, win at BAFTA, and then win at the Oscars, I would have said, oh, okay, then Rachel Weisz is going to win. But, oh, man, Olivia. Oh, boy. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess that's that. Unbelievable. Yeah, that was... I mean, like I said, every year we always have at least one kind of massive landslide win that comes, seemingly out of nowhere. Then we look back later and it's like, well, you can argue that this happened and this didn't work for the front runner and so on and so forth, whether it's Mark Rylance or Mr. Hublot winning over Get a Horse, the year of the animated short, or, of course, Moonlight winning Best Picture over La La Land. What was the big upset last year? Trying to think here. What? Well, not Get Out. No, a lot of people called that one. Maybe the Doc Short last year, Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405. That one, or maybe Icarus, you could say, but even then, Icarus, a lot of people predicted. Man, I'm trying to think what the big... Because, yeah, I mean, a lot of us called the rest of the tech categories pretty well. I mean, cinematography and makeup and film editing, costume design, yeah, those were all relatively easy calls. The two sound categories going to Dunkirk. I mean, yeah, it'd have to be in the shorts there, or NDoc feature. Yeah, so it's like every now and again, yeah, I mean, like not every now and again, every year there's something like that, but yeah. Okay. Ah, damn, I forgot I X'd out of that. Now Green Book's back up there. Shit. Whack-ass Oscar bait. Okay, that's, you know what, when Green Book, I don't have a copy of it yet. I don't think it's quite out on disc yet, but I'll definitely pick it up when it does. I'm going to cross out Green Book. I'm just going to write in whack-ass Oscar bait. That is funny. That is very, very funny. Okay. Anyways, too bad they amended it here. Man, I keep that up for a couple days. I don't know. Just for fun. I don't care. Anyways, but yeah, so that's also really funny that Nick Vallelonga, who and I've been saying here recently, especially, it's like the one because Green Book, of course, hit by all the controversies all year. That's another reason why I wrote it off tonight. For especially for something like screenplay. A picture, I knew it was going to be either that or Roma. We relatively that's been the word around most of us predicting Oscars and stuff. But I thought, especially after WGA could have gone anywhere, to support Green Book, Roma, or Vice, they instead go to a non-Oscar nominee. I was like, well, that pretty much writes off Green Book, that writes off Roma, that writes off Vice, and it leaves between The Favorite and First Reformed. And I took First Reformed, but yeah, damn, but. Now, and Nick Vallelonga, of course, was the big target in that anti-Muslim tweet from a few years ago that's kind of resurfaced, I guess you could say. And he gets 2 Oscar wins tonight. Wow. Okay. And yeah, the guy who directed Dumb and Dumber got 2 Oscar wins as well tonight. That's okay. Now, of course, we all remember Adam McKay won for Big Short, but it's like that one. Yeah, that one felt like that was an easy call that year. But yeah, these 2 were you could call them upset wins, but it was a close call. Anyways, but yeah, I was never totally 100% convinced on The Favorite winning for original screenplay though. Yeah, that was one I was like that could really go any of the 5 ways technically, but I was thinking First Reformed might pull off that massive landslide win, and especially after I can't remember who was presenting. I think it was it was Sam Jackson and Brie Larson. When they opened up, there was a big kind of surprise. I was like, "It's First Reformed! I called it!" And then they said Green Book. I was like, "Oh no, oh well." But yeah, good thing that Spike Lee though he got his Oscar tonight for a competitive Oscar for BlacKkKlansman. So good on to him. Now looking through, I'm trying to think whose speech I liked the most because I've seen all the I watched the whole show and everything, but. Let's see, Rami's speech was a little meandering for me, actually. It went on way longer than it should have. It was a very, it felt like, I think he hit every point he wanted to hit and everything, but yeah. Now, here's a question that I have, and I haven't really followed all the tabloids or anything, but is he dating Lucy Boynton now from the film, his love interest? Yes, he is. Okay. I was gonna say because they were sitting together. I'm like, oh, that's nice co-star sitting together. And then they kissed when he won. I was like, oh, okay, happy boy. But no, yeah. Then they're dating. So that explains that. Okay, my curiosity has been cured there. Anyways, Alfonso's speeches rock though. All 3 of his speeches were very good. And you know what? There's a couple of things now. Hindsight being 2020. Reasons why Roma could not pull it off this year for picture. There's a couple things that really stick out to my mind right now, and that is number one, was Alfonso really going to be up there 4 times accepting? That just doesn't happen. Everyone like the year of The Revenant, sure, sorry, not Revenant, Birdman, we saw Iñárritu get up there 3 times, which is the same number that Alfonso got up there tonight. Yeah, it's. 4 times is a lot. That's a lot of Oscars for one night. And I think that might be a record if he had done it. But yeah, now he and several others I think have taken 3 in the same night. That was something. Obviously, the Netflix factor. I think that's something we need to consider next time a lot more. The Irishman might change that though next year. We'll see. What else? There was something else that really stuck to mind, but the editing nomination. Editing nomination definitely is Birdman. We could dismiss it. Thought we could dismiss it this year with Roma. Kind of the same factors there, where it's a very kind of linear, kind of linear editing style that's very kind of quiet. But the Green Book was one of the nominees, so there you go. What else did it? Didn't it miss something? No, that was really the only one it missed that everybody kind of, at first we all took alert to, but then it's like, well, look at the 2 acting races that it got into. Look at the fact that it was the most nominated film of the night, tied with The Favorite. So it's like there was a lot of other stuff though that pointed it in that direction. And Green Book, the way, why I tried to open my thing and failed miserably with the more things change, more they stay the same. Look at what Green Book did. Same thing that Driving Miss Daisy did. wins an acting award, wins screenplay. Oh, wait, didn't Driving Miss Daisy win screenplay that year? Pretty sure it did. Adapted screenplay, yeah. And it won picture without the director nod. Same deal. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, this is with Ben Affleck now. That's the first time that has happened in recent memory. Yes, that's 6 years, excuse me, now since that's happened. Yeah. So that's again old style kind of thing. You know, we see all 3 of the 4 acting winners tonight played real life people. That's something that usually happens. The screenplays. This was weird, and I've talked about it a little bit this season, but I was like, we don't usually see both screenplay prizes going to films written by multiple writers. Usually it's the one writer achievement thing. Kind of like, I think that happened last year, both categories went that way, but we have 4 winners for BlacKkKlansman and 3 winners for Green Book. That really, is not normal, but again, most of the time they go with the one person, but that's, that'll happen sometimes. Yeah. Anyways, but this was, again, prediction-wise, not a great night. But one thing I was going to tell you guys, though, one highlight I had was the in memoriam section. Usually it just kind of happens, and I'm always, really appreciative that it's there, because it's like, oh, it's a great kind of last hurrah for everybody in film who passed away in the last 12 months. Now, Stanley Donen, I think is his name, he just passed away this morning, so that's why he was not in the show. They always get these things done like 2 days ahead of time, and anybody else who passes away in between those, they will save for next year. They did that with Bill Paxton, didn't they? Or maybe they forgot him, I can't remember. Harold Ramis, I know they did that, I think, because I think he passed away right before the Oscars happened. That's been known to happen before. So, but yeah, I'll tell you what. Normally, I get through them and I'm like, that's great, and I applaud for them and everything. But they never get me emotionally. Tonight's did, and I'll tell you why. It's the Margot Kidder one did. Now I'm a guy, but if we can take a little diversion here, if you want to skip ahead a couple minutes, that's fine. A little diversion here, but I have been since age I don't know how old. I couldn't tell you, but. It's kind of fitting it happens this year, but my grandmother, who passed away a few months ago, introduced me to the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. And since then, they have been, at least the first Christopher Reeve, just Superman, or Superman the movie as it's known, has been my favorite superhero film of all time. And it has continued to be, Dark Knight has great performances, fabulous direction and everything, but there's stuff in that original Superman, even if you call it corny today, that really works. And the one thing in that film that really works, really stands the test of time, is the death of Jonathan Kent scene. Because number one, it's Glenn Ford. He's a terrific actor. But that's kind of the pivotal moment in the movie. Because up to this point, us humans who are watching the movie, we can't 100% relate to this guy, Superman, because he comes from an alien planet. He has all these abilities. He can do all this stuff, and this is the key to Superman, by the way. I think, at least, and a lot of other people note this out too, but it's the fact that once he gets to Earth and gets these human parents, the fact that one of them dies, and he then kind of relates to us on that level to see a loved one pass away, is what I think kind of makes him more of a human than an alien, at least emotionally speaking. And that scene is always something, when it comes up, the one thing I do know, son, is that you are here for a reason. I can't tell you what that reason is, but it's not for scoring touchdowns. Yeah, it's a great scene. But the fact, and I mean, the Man of Steel can go fuck itself, frankly. But the fact that they ruined that scene with a super bloated special effects heavy scene where he has to save the dog and the Twister and all that, it's bullshit. And I can testify because I know I've watched that scene, at least, with a lot of other family members around, because they were always like, oh, I love this movie, I love Superman. And then that scene comes up and they're like, oh, what? Why is he so stupid? And then they're like, oh, that movie sucks. And I'm like, yes! I've won them over. But, the fact that in the original movie, how it happens is poor Jonathan Kent is just kind of going about his business there, and then he looks down and, oh no, and just collapses. And It's like, and the next scene again, very pivotal, where they're at his gravesite, and Clark says, "All those things I can do, all those powers, and I couldn't even save him." I mean, wow. I mean, that just brings it home. It's like, and that's something too. It's like somebody has a heart attack, or and stuff like that. It's like you can't stop that. And in that moment, the character Clark Kent, Superman, becomes way more human, and there's so much humanity in that. And another thing that really helps that scene, what I'm really getting to here, main point, is this score, the score by John Williams. That score, I mean, sure, the Star Wars score is great. The score for E.T. is phenomenal. Jaws, you can go through the years, Schindler's List. Even more recent stuff like Book Thief was a fantastic score. Lincoln had a great score. Warhorse had a wonderful score. Even Force Awakens, I think, had pretty good scores and themes, especially the new ones. But yeah, but that score from Superman is that might be the crowning achievement in my view. That might be his best score of all time. And the music that plays with that, as that plays, right as the funeral happens, and I think a little before, that was the music they chose tonight for the in memoriam section. And it's like right when Margot Kidder's name comes up, like, oh yeah, Margot Kidder passed away, yeah. And then and then that, I was just like, oh my god, it just hit me, just like, wow. And I was like, oh, that, and then I thought of my grandmother and everything. It was just so emotional for me for whatever reason. Man, but yeah, just all came together. And I was like, wow, yep. So that, that still works. So yeah, for all you millennials that put that movie down, go back and think about stuff like that. Go back and think about stuff like that. That's good stuff. That's stuff that'll last forever. But anyways, yeah. So that was a big moment. Oh, the other big moment, of course, of the night. I think everybody's gonna be talking about this. A lot of people will probably say, "Why didn't you lead with this?" And that's the "Shallow" performance from Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Talk about knock your sock off moments. That was wonderful. And I was texting with my mother the whole time that the ceremony was going on. I was like, and she was texting me too. She thought it was crummy this, crummy that. Why did that win? Stuff like that. But she did better predicting why. She got 19 out of 24. Yeah. Yeah. So from now on, you'll be tuning in to my mother, who will be making the predictions next year. Not really, but anyways. But yeah, the one thing she did text me was, she said that was the best part of the whole show was that performance. And I mean, sure, I'm on the record too. Gaga, before her big performance at the 2015 Oscars, where she did the Sound of Music medley, before that moment, I was always like, who cares about Lady Gaga? And I'm somebody, I don't care about modern music for the most part. Very few musicians today, I think, are worthy of my attention. And just think of that what you will, but yeah. I'm just not a big current music fan. Almost all of the music on my phone and just music I listen to is 60s, 70s, 80s, some 90s, and that's about it. And by some 90s, I mean like 5 songs, but because the music scene kind of crashed and burned, in my opinion, in the 90s. But anyways, I'm big on 70s, 80s especially. But that performance that year was of course, everybody else will pinpoint that's the moment that her career changed, and it's like, oh wow, okay, now she's on a bigger, kind of in a bigger market kind of way, and then Oscar voters and Oscar watchers are not exactly her audience, but then she gets there and she does that, and it's like, wow, okay, now we need to pay attention. Then she gets cast in the film, and she does a good job, gets nominated, and good job, really great job according to everybody else. For me, it's like, she said her lines, she got them right, hit her marks. I wasn't a big fan of the performance itself, but yeah, the music for the most part was good. Even though the Shallow song, I had some little quibbles with it. I mean, I've talked about them, but man, when that performance came on, when just those two came up, no introduction needed, really nice. And that's, by the way, introducing the songs too is maybe another thing you can maybe let go of. Just have the announcer say, and now here's performing I'll Fight is, what's her name? From Dreamgirls. Yeah, whose name I'm totally spacing out, I'm sorry. And here performing Ballad of Buster Scruggs' song, here is these two, and so on and so forth. Do that. That'll save you, again, another presenter and 3 minutes or 2 minutes of them BSing on stage until the performers are ready and all that. But to see them, okay, they set up the thing, piano slides out, and then here comes Gaga and Cooper up from the crowd, and I was like, okay, this is going to be good. And then yeah, then Cooper does it. He nails it. Gaga nails her part. They sit down. You know, she sits down at the piano, starts playing. I'm like, oh, I'm always like, yeah, it's a good song. You know, with a couple exceptions, but for the most part, I mean, in that category, yeah, it's probably the one that won. Should have won. But then I'll tell you what, and this is a masterful stroke, by the way, of live television editing and camera work. Is then they cut to the shot, you know, kind of swing around as Bradley Cooper walks over to the piano. Lady Gaga's sitting there still playing, and she slides over a little bit, and Cooper sits down, and it's, oh my God, seriously. I mean, it was, and I texted my mom. I said that was better than the whole movie that the song was in. I mean, seriously, it was almost like bring you to tears moment, even for a cynic like me whose heartstrings were removed in my bypass surgery years ago. I mean, seriously, that was terrific. I mean, and then yeah, just the far from the shallow now as the song ends, and then they turn into each other. Oh, it's just I'm not a Goosebumps guy, but I would get goosebumps from that if I could. I mean, that was fantastic, absolutely wonderful. Yeah, so that was the big highlight of the night for me. In Memoriam was great for emotional reasons, for me, personal reasons, but that's all good. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I'm very proud of this crop of winners, though I have to say that, even if I didn't predict them correctly, I think you could argue Spike Lee over Alfonso Cuarón. For me, I think the better film is BlacKkKlansman, but if you just look at how they directed their films, I think Alfonso wins that all day. Green Book was one of my favorites in Best Picture. Rami's performance in Best Actor, that's a good category, though. I mean, look, I haven't seen Defoe's film At Eternity's Gate, but Cooper was just one of his arguably career best performance in Star is Born. Christian Bale was fantastic in Vice, totally transformative. Vigo was a lot of fun in Green Book and some good dramatic moments from him too. So I would actually rank, of those four that I've seen, I would rank Rami last, and that's not really a dig against him anyways. I've said from the beginning, you can go back, I don't know which video it is, but to the one I posted right after I saw the film. I said, Rami and the last 30 minutes of the film I thought really worked. And his performance, when he's not lip syncing, which the lip syncing thing, that's another thing a lot of people had trouble with. But, personally, it's like, who else can sound like Freddie? I get that point. But, I don't know. I thought it was really obvious. But the rest of his performance, as far as, the not impersonating, but really, again, like Christian Bale, becoming Freddie Mercury and getting all the quippy stuff and the queer stuff, if you will, getting all that down, and the bisexual nature, really, I think Rami really did a good job with that, though. And I would definitely this year, in this crop of best leading actor performances this year, I think he gets in for my vote too, as far as nomination. But as far as who wins, that's I fight it out between Christian Bale and Bradley Cooper for myself. But still, for the most part, I think his performance was great. Mahershala in Green Book, yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, either him or Richard E. Grant are the two best in that category. And yeah, Regina is, I think, of those five, the best, yeah, for supporting actress. The Green Book script we talked about, I think that's one of the better ones of the crop. BlacKkKlansman's script, I think, is probably the best of those, but Beale Street's script is great. Can You Ever Forgive Me script is really great. Star is Born script has, I haven't seen Ballad, so I can't judge that one, but Star is Born script I did have a few quibbles with too. I think Spider-Man's probably the best of the animated films I've seen, which is, I've seen 3 of those. Usually I only see 1 or 2, or none. But I think I did like it a little more than Incredibles 2, but Incredibles 2 was really good, and Ralph Breaks the Internet was a better film than I thought it would be. But yeah, that one worked. I watched through a screener kind of online thing. I didn't watch the whole thing, so don't knock me on that. I watched the first 3 minutes of Cold War and I shut it off because I was just like, it was just people. I mean, I get if it's a Polish kind of thing with their with their singing, but it's like, and I don't want to come off as totally insensitive to it, but it's like the film opens with 3 different groups of people singing off key, really bad, and I was like, as somebody who you can see the ring here. This is actually, this is not for singing, but it's for piano for jazz band, state championships, and a 2-time member of the Iowa All-State Honor Choir in high school. I know when singing is bad, and I know when singing is good. This was not good singing. Totally off pitch, no tone to it at all. And I get, if that's a Polish thing, okay. but I just won't listen to Polish music because it wasn't to my liking. But I mean, 3 minutes straight of it, I was just like, nope. So I shut it off, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can work the courage up to bear those 3 minutes again. Sure, I can skip it, but whatever. Let's see here. I think what really helps Free Solo in that pack of winning is the fact that Won't You Be My Neighbor is not there. But yeah, here's some, Skin for live action film. I had that one for a while. I talked about it, and I didn't get it. I went switched over to Marguerite like a sissy. Yeah, that didn't work. Let's see. We all had Bao, I think, from the beginning, so that worked out. Yeah. Just looking at these other tech categories really quick, one more time before we're done here. Black Panther. Yeah, again, that was a two-way race there, but. That's weird. Another thing, when I was kind of right before the show started, I looked back at my ballot and predictions and everything. I'm like, yeah, Black Panther, I don't have winning anything. I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm like, yeah, again, too little, too late thing. But I don't know where I probably would have gone, because a lot of people I've seen have been predicting that for costumes. I was like, I probably could have been swayed by that. Production design, I didn't think so. I thought production design was going to be the favorite 100%, but no. And then score, I knew was a battle, but I just thought they'd go Beale Street because that was the one that I think voters, traditional more Oscar voters are way more passionate about that one, and Beale Street is more in the line of their tradition kind of films than Black Panther, the superhero kind of big blockbuster film. So I think is this the first time we've seen a musical win for sound editing? And yes, it is a musical. It's not a drama, suckers, but well, it worked out for Fox, right? Anyways, but especially the Globes there. But I was thinking Quiet Place had that one, but yeah, didn't pay off. Sound mixing, that one definitely felt like Bohemian. Let's see, cinematography we all had. I think we all had the rest of those. Yeah, the film editing one, I've already seen a lot of blowback to this because there's a lot of choppy stuff in Bohemian that I didn't even notice the first time. Then somebody I saw on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, they posted a clip. It's like they only had like 30 seconds of it, but it's like the average shot was like half a second. It's like, oh, here's this, and it's like really jumpy, and they really were criticizing it. But it's like, well, Vice was kind of the same thing. I mean, it was a lot of edity, kind of jumpy stuff and all that. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, and then First Man for visual effects. That's probably the only win tonight that I'm proud of that wasn't an obvious call. That was kind of a tougher one. That's the only one I can brag about for 3 minutes, and then everybody forgets. But man, yeah, like that Olivia Colman thing. That's a throw you for a loop moment and all that. Okay. All right. Well, I guess that closes out this year for Oscar predictions, Oscar season, and all that. My computer's going to die, so I'm going to plug that in really quick. The cable is here. All right. Really quick, one thing I've done, I did it last year, I can't remember if I did it the year before or not, but we kind of looked ahead to the films that were coming out in 2019, still to come out. We looked at, okay, what can we kind of throw out there for some early predictions for what could play big at the Oscar? I think we mentioned, well, I know a couple I mentioned that didn't pan out were Widows, 0 nominations, and what was the other one? Mary Queen of Scots, which only got the pair of nominations, but yeah, that didn't take off at all and was one of the worst films of the year, in my opinion. But let's see, anything that's come out this year that we're looking at that, okay, already we can tell that might be an Oscar contender. Well, it just opened, did really well at the box office this weekend, and that's How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I can see that being in the list of 5 nominees this year for animated feature, but you're going to have to come over like Toy Story, and who else is coming out this year? There's another one that came to mind, but okay, I'm just kind of looking through the list here. I'm like, there's another one, Secret Life of Pets 2, maybe. I don't know. Could be. Let's see here. Isn't there was something else, kind of a more obvious one. Not Angry Birds 2, no. There's a more obvious one that was coming out later in the year that I was like, oh, yeah. But I can't think of it now. Oh, Addams Family? Maybe. I don't know. Peanuts movie didn't get in, so I don't know about that. There's a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, but I don't know. Watch that'll win. Oh, Frozen 2, that's what it was. Yes, Frozen 2. Frozen 2, I think, will definitely be in contention there, too. Then you got, there's usually an animated film comes out around Christmas time, so we'll see. Right now, I don't think any of them are slated, at least not yet, but we'll see. Okay, who else here? Lego Movie 2, I'm not going to bet on Lego at the Oscars ever again. That never pans out. So, yeah, that's why I skipped that one. Let's see. Captain Marvel maybe gets if it's really good and it gets a couple, that could get a couple nods in like the tech categories and stuff. Um, what else? Us. That's the Jordan Peele follow up, of course, to Oscar winner Get Out. I don't know. It's kind of the, you know, I don't know. I mean, I like the trailers and stuff so far, but I feel like that's the thing is we were all like, okay, well, Jordan Peele's going to come out with this movie, and then it took off. You know, it was a big surprise hit. I don't know if we can be as surprised like that again with this film. And that's not, I don't think, a judgment on the film, but I think more on like the box office and expectations and all that. And that includes Oscar expectation. Now, if it's a modern day classic, the way that Get Out was, then okay, then we'll change our tune there. But yeah. Let's see here. What else? I don't know. I'm looking forward to Dumbo personally, but I don't know what that would be in for. Maybe effects. I don't know. Disney always they did really well this year. Let's see. April. I'm not seeing anything. Avengers Endgame comes out, of course, in April, end of April, right after Easter. Yeah, probably get some stuff like tech nominations and stuff. Probably effects easily. Ugly Dolls is probably not going to be up for anything. I'm just looking through here. What else is sticking through? There's one coming out called Tolkien, based on J.R.R. Tolkien, with Nicholas Hoult, Lily Collins. First trailer didn't impress me that much, and if it comes out in May, that's not a good sign. What else? We really have to, after this, we have to skip to later on. Now, Rocket Man is coming out. They had a second preview come out. I haven't seen it yet, but Taron Egerton is in that one. Well, we just saw Bohemian Rhapsody go 4 for 5. I don't know about this one, though. I don't know. The first trailer did not impress me, frankly. Okay, what else? Got a new version of Shaft. I don't know. There is one. Danny Boyle's got a new one out yesterday. I didn't see the trailer for it, but the premise very much intrigued me. It's kind of one guy who wakes up in a world, kind of fantasy kind of film, where he wakes up in a world where he's the only person who knows who the Beatles are. He's the only one who's ever heard their music. So he, takes their songs and performs them and becomes, the next Beatles by himself. Very interesting concept. Again, kind of fantasy, but that might be. It comes out again, and it's not positioned well Oscar-wise because it's not coming out in the last 4 months of the year. It's coming out in late June, but that one, I think, if it really gets the big critical response, is a good independent hit. I think it'll be independent as far as its release pattern goes. But yeah, I can see that maybe being one that could make an impact. What else do we got here? Let's see. Lion King, that'll probably be a visual effects nominee. Here we go. Here's the first one. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Tarantino, baby. Yeah, I could see, maybe if you want to make a very early prediction here, I can see Margot Robbie's got a good enough role, at least on the surface level. Look at it. Playing a real person, Sharon Tate, very tragic story with her. I can see her definitely getting nominated for supporting actress. She might even win. Yeah, there's an early call for you. Then you got Leo and Brad Pitt. Arguably, they're two male leads, so they might fight it out for Best Actor. You got like Al Pacino, Bruce Dern, the guy, I think it's named Damon Harriman, I think is his name, playing. He plays Manson, so probably one of those guys maybe argues for a supporting actor. So that one I can see really doing well. What else here? Can I look? That's already out. Where'd You Go, Bernadette was supposed to come out this year, then they pushed it back to April or March or something. Now they pushed it back to August again. I don't know. If it gets pushed multiple times like that, I'm not willing to bet that it's going to break any records Oscar-wise, so I don't know. Then again, August is when Boyhood came out, I think. No, that was July. July, excuse me. So, yeah, so I don't know if that's the next Boyhood for Richard Linklater there. What else do we got here? Let me hit into September. Here we go. Now we get into more stuff. It Chapter 2, I don't think so. Downton Abbey, I don't know, feels like too little too late. I don't know if that'll even make any money or not. You gotta watch it. It'll be the biggest grossing hit of next year. Beats Avengers and everything. Let's see here. We've got The Kitchen. That's got Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, Elizabeth Moss, Common, Domhnall Gleeson, and Margot Martindale. It's listed as crime drama. But yeah, cast like that, I can see that being a comedy too, though. Maybe. Let's see here. Anything else September that's animated stuff? No, I don't think so. Okay, October. We do have Joker coming out, standalone Joker movie, which is kind of by itself. With we do have Joaquin Phoenix in there, three or four time Oscar nominee. I forget how many he's up to now, but maybe he's a dark horse Best Actor contender right now. I don't know. Let's see here. You got Woman in the Window, which is it's got Amy Adams in it. That might be her next nomination potentially. You also got Julianne Moore and Gary Oldman in that one. Anthony Mackie and Brian Tyree Henry also show up. It's from Joe Wright, whose last film, Darkest Hour, did pretty well at the Oscars, nominations-wise, got a couple wins. And Tracy Letts is the screenwriter. He's had his fair share of accolades through the years. More on for script writing, or not script writing, excuse me, but writing for the stage. But you never know. Let's see, Gemini Man. It's Ang Lee. You really, well, except for the Billy Lynn film, you can't really discount Ang Lee. It's kind of more of a sci-fi film, but I don't know, that might break through. I mean, The Martian did, a few years ago. That came out in October as well. Let's see here. I mentioned Addams Family. Okay, getting into November, we've got, here's one I'm excited about. The Ford versus Ferrari film. It's James Mangold, who just did Logan, got a surprise Oscar nomination. You got Christian Bale and Matt Damon as the two creators of the cars there in this one. You've also got the chick whose name I can't pronounce from Outlander, Katrina Balfe, I think is how you pronounce it, or something close to that. John Bernthal, of course, is in. He's in everything. Tracy Letts, acting-wise, is in this one. He actually plays Henry Ford Jr., or the second, or however he goes. That might be one that's pretty good. I think I was supposed to come out in summer. They just pushed it back recently to November, so that's a good sign for that one. Got a Roland Emmerich film, Midway, coming out. I don't know, it's got a decent cast in it, though. But yeah, a lot of his films have decent cast, and they don't pan out. Some people are wondering about Doctor Sleep. It's the semi-sequel to, I would say spiritual sequel, but it actually is kind of a sequel to The Shining. We don't know at this rate how it's, because there's also the book, Doctor Sleep by Stephen King, which was kind of more of a sequel to the book The Shining than the film The Shining. So we'll see how this film adaptation goes, if it's more faithful to the original Shining film and they kind of work in Stephen King stuff where they can, or if it's going to be more of a more direct adaptation from the book. Okay, then we've got, here's one, The Good Liar. Looks like a pretty good cast here. You got Ian McKellen and Helen Mirren in it. Directed by Bill Condon. He's no stranger to the Oscars. Let's see. Yeah, we mentioned Frozen 2. Of course, the probably the biggest, most on the radar one, other than The Irishman, which I think that'll come out in December next year. It's not slated yet, but I'm sure it will. Is Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which is the Tom Hanks starring Marielle Heller directed film about Mr. Rogers. So we'll see if that one can come in and actually be nominated this year instead of Won't You Be My Neighbor. See if it suffers a better fate. Let's see, Knives Out is coming out also in November. It's Ryan Johnson's film. Kind of sounds like an interesting concept, and the cast is amazing. I mean, you got Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Lakeith Stanfield, Michael Shannon, Ana de Armas, Don Johnson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Toni Collette, and Christopher Plummer. Oh, wow. I like Last Jedi more than most people, but yeah, whatever he does next, I'm kind of curious about it. And of course, in December, we've got Star Wars Episode 9. We'll see where that one goes. Yeah, I'm curious about it. Cats from Tom Hooper. That could be his big return to the Oscar stage. Again, you got a good cast in that one, like Jennifer Hudson. That's who it was, Jennifer Hudson, I think. Tonight, Taylor Swift. You got James Corden, Idris Elba, Rebel Wilson, Judi Dench, Ian McKellen again. So that could be one that does well. Little Women, Greta Gerwig's follow-up to Lady Bird. This one also has Saoirse Ronan in it. Also has Timothée Chalamet in it. Also, you've got Emma Watson, Florence Pugh. You got Laura Dern in this one. You got Meryl Streep. You got Bob Odenkirk, and you got Chris Cooper. So that's a good call. I think that'll probably get some attention. And we got 1917. We don't know much about this one yet, but it's Sam Mendes' next film, and he's also writing the script for this one. And The Irishman, of course, which, like we said, hasn't been slated yet. But, I mean, yeah, you've got to think that's in the consideration for, like, director, of course, lead actor. For probably De Niro, we'll get lead actor in that, but you never know. Joe Pesci's coming back, Al Pacino, good cast. Yeah, so I'd be excited for that one, too. Okay, so those are maybe some easy calls. Of course, assuming that they don't get pushed to the following year and so on and so forth. So yeah, there's next year's crop. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so that was this year's Oscar follow up. Yeah, again, not a great night predicting for me, but well, I got a few right. That's really all that matters too, right? Anyways, so yeah, I guess I'll shut it down for this year, and we will be back next year. If you've been, have you been curious about what else is going to happen with the channel now? Because otherwise, I'm just going to go dark for 6, 7 months until the next Oscar season starts up. I've got a couple ideas for stuff I can do. They'd be very different setup though. They would not be a just microphone just from onboard from the laptop and just the dock cam here. It'd be kind of a actual video, like not a video of me, but just a you get photographic stills with narration and stuff. That's my thinking. They would not. It'd be controversial subjects. I mean, entertainment related, not politics. We're not going to go there, but it's just an idea floating around my head right now. But not, and I haven't gotten to anything else yet. But just an idea that I have. It might not pan out. I might forget about it, and then just never think about it again after a couple days. But it's an idea. It's an idea. But anyways. Otherwise, thanks everybody for tuning in this year. Now the channel, I think, had a very successful year, much better than my predictions. We've seen a whole bunch of new subscribers. The channel count for total views, I think, is hopefully will pass 35,000 after this season is over, which is very very good achievement, I think, for me. For this very very you could call it sloppy style of video, but this for me personally, just with a history of YouTube. This works better because these videos upload very quick for me, and I don't have to worry about bad Wi-Fi and all that. So yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this season. Green Book goes through all the controversies, still comes out the winner, and yeah. And we got big upset with Olivia Colman for Best Actress over the favorite of Glenn Close. So yes, this was a crazy year. I've gotten Best Picture wrong 4 years in a row now, going strong. I was hoping, I mean, seriously, next year, I don't care what the fuck Gold Derby says, and I don't care what the fuck all the experts say. I'm going to pick something different and then watch. Then the majority of people will be right next year. Yeah. That's the way it's been the last few years. Anyways, so I'm going to close out, and that will be it for me this year, and hopefully you did better than I did, but anyways, hopefully, otherwise everybody else will be in the same spot I am, where it's like, this was just a terrible year. But all right, I'm gonna get out of my pity party now, and we will see you guys soonish, whenever.